are live here for the debate, the Clash of the Queen City postgame show. It's just me right now. Tom is on the stage wrangling, getting some of the aftermath of the David Jones, Bobby Charles spat there that we saw at the end.
There's no Bobby Charles handshake.
I'm tired of the guy.
And then John Featherston will be joining us shortly. John Featherston is working the spin room, so he will be talking to the campaign staff, talking to the candidates, and getting their reactions on how the candidates did. Overall, I thought it was an excellent 2-hour debate. I thought all the candidates were good. I don't think there was any particularly bad standout performance in the entire debate. A lot of people monitoring the chat seem to think that Owen McCarthy had maybe a breakout performance tonight. People seem to like what Ben Midgley did, just from the unscientific chat perspective. And then Bobby Charles, a divisive figure. He's getting a lot of support. He's was probably the front runner heading into the debate. Excuse me. Did he do enough tonight to solidify the lead, to keep the lead that he had, or did someone another different candidate? And we've got David Jones right here. Looks like he'll be joining us in a second. Potentially Tom Shattuck coming in now. You're live, gentlemen.
Right here. All right.
So live in the spin room with Tom Shattuck and David Jones. After the 2-hour debate, David, how do you think it went?
Well, I think it went great. Finally, I've been waiting for that guy to be on stage with me. He just ducks every single, debate we have. He's missed 4. And I just think, people got to know.
And if people didn't see it, and I think you might have been back here, David Jones went after him very aggressively, called him a liar to his face.
No, I'm not saying anything to you or that I wouldn't say to him. Listen, I'm a patient guy. But when it comes right down to it, I like to tell the truth. I've raised my kids to tell the truth. I run my business on truth. And when I see this guy going and embellishing every single thing he ever did, I just get to a point where, that's right. Thank you very much. I love it. I see, and when people can't handle the truth, that's what you have. The bottom line.
So what put you over the edge?
Well, look, John, you and I have been on the trail, and he's
Sure.
talking about Lewiston. Has he ever been in Lewiston? I've never seen him.
I haven't been with him in Lewiston.
I haven't seen him in Lewiston. I've spent countless hours. I've been to Augusta, town committee meetings. Same thing. So these people are MIA. And as governor, you got to be involved. You got to understand what's going on, and you got to have a pulse on the state. For 30 years, I've been involved in the state of Maine. I've committed my life, my family, my business, everything into the state of Maine. And when I see this guy fly in here in 2022 under what I think are more than suspicious circumstances and decides that he can run the state of Maine, I'm sorry. I got a problem with it.
What did you think about him saying you're all just jealous because he's a front runner?
No. Look, tell the truth, be who you are, show up. Ben Midgley said it. Like you got to show up. We had 4 debates that Bobby Charles refused to show up for. Why? You know why? Because he knew that I was going to confront him. That's the bottom line.
Okay.
So do you think that the voters in that room wanted to see that? Because some of them were ticked off. There's no doubt about that.
No, sure.
And you said it in there. And in case you guys don't remember, weren't watching live. You said it in there. You don't really care if they're ticked off. You're going to say what you want to say.
Listen, look, here's the way I feel about it.
No political consultant would tell you to be doing that.
I don't care. Look, I started this campaign because I wanted to be the next governor of Maine, because I believe I have the skill sets to do it.
Yep.
And when you got people up there that are running their jaw and making promises, what put me over the top tonight was when he said he was going to cut $4 billion. Look, I'm a numbers guy. Numbers don't lie. People do. The idea that you can cut $4 billion in 4 years, I'm sorry. Not possible.
Not buying it. Is anybody else on your shit list, or is it just one? One competitor?
I don't know if you call it a shit list. I like all these guys, and whether I'm the governor or not. I told my wife when I decided to run that if I win, fine. If I don't, fine. But one thing I will tell you, I will not lie. I will always tell the truth. I will always have the backs of the people of the state of Maine. That's what I care about. I'm not going to sit there and try and be something that I'm not. And so they're all good guys. I mean, some more qualified than others, but I'm an outsider. I'm a businessman. I'm a guy that's always signed in front of the check. I'm a guy that made my life I've done pretty darn good in life, only because I worked hard. I worked very hard to be who I am, and so nothing came easy. I wasn't given anything on a silver platter, and I want people in Maine to understand that what I want to be is the opportunity governor. I want them to realize the opportunity that David Jones had when he was a kid that made me what I am today.
Well, you certainly got a message across tonight. It made for a very good video, among other things. David Jones, thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Right.
So that is David Jones. Garrett Mason is over there. If he wants to pop on here.
Come have a seat, please.
You can write right here if you want in the red.
Hey guys.
How are you?
Good. How'd it go?
Do you want to call anybody a liar to their face?
Not today. Maybe later. But no, it was. We had a great time. I'm so thankful for this forum because, as somebody who's done this before, like I said on stage, I mean, this is how you communicate to people in today's world. I mean, having a production at this level, what you guys are doing right now, is so important for the future of the party. And I'm just so thrilled that you're doing it. So well done to you guys.
Well, thank you. One of the things I thought that you said that sets you apart from everybody else is that the budgeting process, the governing, has to start now.
Yeah.
Even though none of you are governor yet.
That's right.
Explain to people in case they missed it, the nuance of that.
Yeah. So what happens, and this happened to Paul LePage when he came into office, the previous governor starts building out their budget in August. And that's just a function of necessity. You have to do it because it's a huge budget, not just in numbers, but it's also just a huge budget because you're running an entire state. So that process starts out in August, where commissioners start building out what they think that they want. The next Republican governor is going to have to be a candidate and also draft their next budget, because if they don't, Janet Mills commissioners are going to hand you a $13 billion budget. And I can tell you, as somebody who has been there before and done that and, made suggestions for things that should be defunded or funded in budgets in the past, you have to start that process then. I can tell you, if I'm elected governor, there will not be a Janet Mills budget number 5. It will be a Garrett Mason budget because I've done it before.
Gary, call me cynical, and I'm newer to Maine politics, but would you foresee the Mills administration trying to hamstring the incoming administration?
I mean, maybe there's always a possibility, but I could see that. I mean, if you don't have an experienced governor or experienced person going into that role, they could slide all kinds of things in there that you might not realize are there. And so that's why, my pitch is different. I'm not going to stand up there and say I've never been involved in government, all these things. I have been. I understand these things, and I know what has to happen well before you actually get elected. And I think that's what brings, power to my candidacy. Is like, I don't need to depend on anybody else. I don't need a team of people telling me how it works and what to do. I can do it right away.
So what do you think happens after tonight? I mean, this is getting great views. It's gotten good publicity. I think, the candidates got to show who they are. What do you think? Does the race tighten up? Does somebody drop out going forward? What do you envision?
Yeah, I think that it's it's kind of a function of time. We're like less than 3 months away now at this point. I think you'll start to see the field kind of bunch up. That's usually what happens in these elections. And so I anticipate that we're going to be on top of the pack. We feel really good on our fundraising. We feel really good. There's been tremendous outside support. And we've gotten great reviews on events like this. So I'm very happy with where we are. And I'm going to just continue to bring the message that we need experience. We don't have time for on-the-job training. We don't have time for anybody to figure it out. We got to be ready to go. And I'm ready to go.
Garrett Mason, thank you so much.
No, it's great.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good
guys.
night.
For spending a couple minutes with you. I hope you have a great night. Good to see you.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon.
Robert Wessels is going to join us now, fresh from the debate stage.
Mr. Wessels, how are you?
I am doing well.
So,
Thank you
Robert,
guys for doing this.
Well,
thank you so much. I think it's fair to say that stylistically, you and David Jones are on opposite ends of the spectrum.
I suppose some might say that. Yeah, definitely a different approach.
Yeah, you don't have. I noticed this from the beginning. Is you don't do the bombast game is not you. Is this as a result of your life's work?
It really is. Somebody asked me about that. I just said, they're like, you never get flustered. You never get, riled up. I'm like, 20 years of retail? Are you kidding me? Like this is nothing.
Yeah.
So no, it absolutely is. It's something that you're just trained with. But the reality is, and I've heard this time and time again, right? Like they're like, oh, you're not a fighter. No, I'm a fighter. I'm just not divisive. Right? I will fight for my principles. I will fight for what is right. I will fight for our state. I've been doing it for the last 2.5 years, and it's absolutely a critical fight. I'm just not divisive.
Have you found that since you've been running, like you said, for 2.5 years, have you found that people are especially receptive to certain messaging? In other words, are there a few buzzwords that you found after 2 years that get people's ears to prick up? Say, wait a second, this guy hears me, he sees me.
I will say there are certainly topics, right, that get people riled up or excited or ready to talk. Education is one of those. Property taxes is absolutely one of those. CMP bills or energy is one of those. Again, as I've been having the conversations, the reality is about 80% of the conversations that I end up having are about those personal economics. It's how am I going to make it through life? And we really should be focused on how can I thrive, but we're just how can I exist? How can I keep going?
Wow, can't imagine the stories that you've heard over the last couple of years.
So how'd you think tonight went, and then what do you think tomorrow looks like?
So I thought tonight went well. Number one, thank you guys for putting it on. I thought it was wonderful. It was great to see a sold out crowd. And really, again, I said it beforehand, but the idea is let's get that message out. Let's talk about it. We're really similar as far as the 8 of us and where we are on a lot of different topics. That was alluded to. But who we are and how we will approach the governor's position is very different. And people need to be able to see that, to be able to know. And I thought it was very successful tonight to be able to see that.
Robert Wessels, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Guys.
Thanks for coming tonight.
Have a good, safe trip home. Thank you for everything.
Jim Libby.
What
Hey,
did you guys
Jim.
think? Did you have fun?
I thought it was great.
I thought it was
So
a good
did I.
night.
I loved it.
Good night.
Absolutely good for the Republican Party. I mean, everyone tried to get the message out, and I think they were effective. We got great candidates, great people up there. I just am so pleased because, I've been doing this for a long time. I started in the 80s working for Bill Cohen, of all people, and I've been fighting for the Republican Party, and I just have seen more energy this year. It may be from all the mistakes the Democrats are making, and they're making a lot of them, but whatever the reason, I'm just so happy because it's an opportunity. We're going to strike while the iron's hot.
Do you think, obviously in 2010, it was the Tea Party. So in comes LePage, in comes a whole bunch of Republicans. I don't notice a Tea Party swell happening. I mean, unless it's silent, Mainers are obviously sick of the corruption. They're sick of not being able to afford this state. They're sick of the craziness in schools. But is there a groundswell somewhere?
I think there is, and I just think that people know the difference between right and wrong. And I mean, you heard all about the contracts that we've been giving out, the illegal contracts. We do a lot of bid rigging. Didn't get too much time to talk about that, but I'm going to in the future. If you take a look at all the money that was spent on autism where somebody actually didn't provide a service, that's pretty bad. So, I think people look at issues like those education issues and those children with autism, and they say to themselves, oh my God, how did we get here? And so we have now the ability, and some of it is thanks to Maine Wire, there's no question about it. We have the ability to get the word out and educate people. And the other part of it is just social media. We're getting better as a party at dealing with social media, and we've never been good at that before.
Yeah, absolutely. Jim, we appreciate your time, and great job today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Jim. Thank you. Good luck.
Bye-bye.
It's been great.
So thank you so much, Jim. So we'll grab Jonathan Bush here in a moment. Comes.
Mr. Bush.
Ah,
How are you?
Gentlemen,
We got a little fun at the
let's
end.
go again.
Let's go again.
Let's do it again.
Like Ernie Bank. Let's play 2 today.
You want me to listen? I can't.
No, you don't have to
Doesn't
listen.
matter. Okay, good.
So I think that to a lot of people in the room, when you went after Medicaid and the disaster that it's becoming,
Yeah.
the to the extent of which it swallowed up Maine's budget and just on so many horrible effects to other parts of the economy.
Right.
It seemed to me you held the room with that messaging, and
Okay.
you
I
got
was worried because it's complicated.
it.
But
Is.
I think that idea of these commissars in their power grab, bloating up Augusta and then shrinking down. We're closing hospitals. We're losing doctors. It's because these hungry hippos are expanding. It's complicated, but we pull that back. We're going to see some beautiful green shoots, much better healthcare, much more affordable.
So you've had a life with a successful business life.
Yeah.
You've been in business.
Yeah.
How are you going to deal with it if you are elected governor and you start making these cuts and
Yeah.
downsizing, getting rid of this fraud? They're going to be press herald's going to be calling you a murderer.
Yeah, sure.
All sorts of everything they threw at George W. Bush, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
You know, all the vilification. That's all going to hit you. Are you prepared for that?
I am absolutely prepared for that. Half of this race is about people already judging me for who they think I am without
Yes.
having met me, etc. It ain't new to be misjudged, underestimated, overestimated in public life. But if you want to matter, you lean in. And this is a crisis,
Yeah.
and somebody who's capable has got to lean in. I've had a great life. The American dream worked out. Extraordinary story. But I want to see other people have it. That's more rewarding than one more crack at the apple for me. And I don't think one of the guys, the inside guys we've got, even though they've got a lot of really good specific little examples that they could do, it's not going to carry the weight. This is a relentless, multi-year, endless assault. And if you don't have that kind of energy and the experience of doing that, the technology, the systems, the legal, it's not going to work.
Once again, you were the only candidate on the stage tonight talking about contracting government.
It was
Contracting
strange.
government.
Every candidate running for governor on the Republican side has got at least one new program. Ben's got the retraining thing, and Owen's got his special shipyard that the state's going to run. And each one of them has one, and I'm sort of mystified. I don't understand why that goes on our side of the aisle, and it confuses the message. One of the things I learned about doing big things at scale is you've got to be narrow missioned, very specific, and then relentless. If you start letting the waters trickle over the dam, the whole thing comes apart.
Yep.
So this has got to be narrow, shrink Augusta, wake up the free market to occupy the space that we cleared for it, and let Mainers grow.
So the most awkward time in the room for most people was the spat to your right and left.
Yeah.
But there were some noises when you went after Trump a little bit, or said he's a little odd, essentially, sometimes. How do you thread that needle? Because the MAGA people don't like that.
Which
The MAGA people don't like it when you say something about Trump that seems like you're denigrating him.
I mean, what I've said about Trump is, I was worried about some of his character issues, but the guy delivered on the border and delivered on DEI and delivered the beginning of what should be a restructuring. I don't think that's happened quite yet. And now we're overseas with something. But this is a guy who delivered. And I think part of that is that this is a guy who was an outsider with the ability to operate a business at scale. And I right now am, depending on how you look at the franchise business, Ben's, ran a lovely franchise business and he's a lovely guy. But I had 6,500 direct employees serving 116,000 doctors. That's just on another level. 6 times the size, 7 times the size of the state's entire, more than twice the entire budget, and 6 times the size of the healthcare budget. And I knew where every penny was in their whole world. So I believe that's what we need to sustain this. And I believe that even a guy who wishes I didn't choose someone else in the primary or whatever, we'll see that over time.
Great.
Jonathan Bush, thank you so much.
Gentlemen, what a
Thank
great,
you.
well-executed professional debate. It looks like Republicans are in the house.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
sir.
Loved it.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bobby.
Oh, Ben
Is Ben next?
Ben has been next. Yep.
Oh, Ben. Oh, sorry, Ben.
Mr. Midgley, how are you?
Yeah, how's it going?
Good. Have fun tonight?
Bring this in. Yeah, it was fun. Got even funner at the end there, right? For a little while.
Yeah, you had to go after that. So your thoughts on that?
The back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it was great that it was limited just to one adventurous moment on stage. Otherwise, I think it was great. And look, people get passionate about it. My position on attacks in general is, you got to run on your own character and credentials, but this is a very passion-filled endeavor. A lot of people are going on, and I think you got to really understand that people are doing this because they all care deeply. And in some situations like that, emotions are going to come out. We had a little bit of that tonight, so you got to respect both of them. And hopefully everybody, moves past that and looks at the bigger picture that the goal is to win.
So some people in the room left when the spat happened, and they didn't want the negativity. They just left. And so people are for some demographic of people, they're sick of politics, the way politics looks in right now.
Sure.
Is that one of the weapons that you bring, that you're not 2026 politics?
No, I mean, on that point, and I think I actually said it at a Lincoln dinner, several Lincoln dinners, right? The country's fractured. There's no doubt about it. Maine is fractured. So I think the way I put it to people is, we don't only have the collective responsibility to win the election, but we have the collective responsibility to bring the state back together, the state that we love. A lot of us grew up here. It was never like this before, and it's okay, even though I'm running in the Republican primary, to talk to somebody on the other side or talk to somebody who's an independent, right? At the end of the day, we need to get people to understand that the goal of what we're trying to do is to just make it better for everybody in the state. Bottom line.
You're not a career politician. You're a businessman. And, when I hear you speak, I hear, a manager, I hear a CEO. How is that going to make you a good governor?
Yeah, well, I mean, I started my career cleaning machines in a gym in exchange for a membership. That's how I started, the very bottom. And I never graduated college. And I think what that did for me is, gave me kind of a chip on my shoulder that I have to learn things better than everybody else, because I didn't have that formal education, right, wrong, or indifferent. So with that in the background, then I grew up in the career a little bit. I ended up in some bad times. I ended up on unemployment food stamps. That gave me a distinct appreciation for not having anything, right, and the value of hard work. So that's how I dug in from there, and then obviously moved up in the industry and learned everything I could about business. So I think structurally, the advantage I have is, I mentioned it on stage, running $1 billion company, creating one from scratch, creating 15,000 jobs. I understand everything about large organizational structural management. And my team is just fantastically dialed, let's just say it, right? They're some of the most experienced people in the state, and they have won governor races before. So those two things together, very formidable. And then look, the governor's job is an executive job. You got 15 departments in the state with 5 to 10 sub-departments under each of them. You got over 14,000 employees, very complicated, financial issues. All the departments have to run efficiently and effectively, and you have to make them better. You need, CEO experience to do that.
We're running out of time here, so great to see you.
I think I had a good night. I think most people would say so. Thank you so much.
All right, hey, thanks.
Great
guys.
to
All
see
right,
you. Thank you.
Thanks.
I was trying to watch the face. I won't serve you at the time.
All right, Bobby Charles is over there.
Mr. Charles. Okay, yeah.
Hey, Bobby, nice
Yes,
to
sir.
see you.
Am I close enough to this?
You are perfect. That is fantastic.
Thank you.
It was a fun evening.
I had a blast. If you want to know the truth, I think it was wonderful.
So I went to the stage after the debate finished out, and pretty much everybody shook everybody's hand except for you and one other gentleman.
Well, I got swamped, to be quite honest. I shook everybody's hand afterwards, but one by one except for one.
Yes.
One who probably didn't want to shake my hand. That's all right. But no, I was swamped by people, and I love it. I mean, look, Maine is punching energy into this. Republicans are really engaged at the moment, and I think this debate helped to make them even more engaged. And I'll tell you, it was fun for me. You prepare for these things. It's like preparing for a baseball game and then going out to play shortstop and getting a few balls hit at you, and you get to wrestle them down, and that's good. So I also feel like, and I hope other candidates feel this way, when I am out there on any stage or in any event, I feel like they're putting wind under my wings, even if they think I'm putting wind under their wings. If we do that, we will get voter turnout not only in June, but we'll get voter turnout in November, and we will win this thing.
Well, it seems to me that in the general, if you were to get the nomination in the general, you wouldn't have the attacks that you went to Washington and abandoned Maine. If the likely Democratic frontrunner is the nominee, I don't think those work anymore.
Yeah, look, I'm very proud of my business. I did classified and unclassified work for 25 years. I went away to serve my country. I served 10 years military intelligence, Navy intelligence specifically. I was serving for off and on 3 years in the Reagan White House. Newt Gingrich tapped me. I would have come home earlier, but I kept getting tapped to do things that were significant to the country. I am all about service. That is what defines me, not money, service. And I have nothing against money. If somebody goes out, that's their emotional reward. I'm all for it. Look, I'm a free market guy. But at the end of the day, this state needs people that are dedicated to service first. And that is why I'm here. I think that the pieces of the puzzle fit together. Billions of dollars managed, drug traffickers brought down, education reform, and going after fraud are the exact things that Maine right now needs. So if you'd asked me 3 years ago, am I going to be doing this? I'd say, no, not a chance. I'm waiting for Ronald Reagan to show up. I'm going to support him and we're going to be good. But no, we don't have that. And so I do think, and I'm going to take this to faith for a moment, I do think you need to listen hard to what God is asking you to do. And I'm not saying God isn't asking other people to step up, but I feel like if you do what you are supposed to be doing, then you're doing the right thing. And I believe, just here's a little idea for you. I think we're all where God wants us right now and doing what we should be doing. As in, this is a meant moment. We are all here where we are meant to be. I do believe that this is the year that the state of Maine steps up and realizes that if we don't get it right now, we will never get another chance. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Go ahead, John.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, I can't disagree with that last statement. Tonight I think was a defining debate. I think it was, the pinnacle of the debate season. I mean, what do you think tomorrow looks like with candidates and the campaign and the message?
Some people will probably end up dropping out or falling in behind, but I will tell you right now, what I said at the end is what I think and what I actually believe. One team, one fight starting tonight. And if for some reason someone else had prevailed in this debate and I was disappointed, which I was not, but at the end of the day, we have to be one team. And I'll put it to you this way. In high school, and only in high school, I played football. And I was not a good football player, but I did learn lessons. And one of them is if you leave a hole in the line, they will come through it every single time. We cannot let that happen this year. And so I have had, believe it or not, even with that character, I've had good conversations with people all through this cycle. And the reason is I don't take anything personally. I worked for Ronald Reagan and he modeled that. Don't take anything personally. It's not personal. It's just whatever's going on in them. At the end of the day, we have to look at each other and say, we are a team of rivals. We're a powerful team of rivals. We might be the best team of rivals in the history of the Maine Republican Party running in one cycle. And we need to back each other up. We need to, and I've had conversations, great. I won't name them and I won't go into them, but great conversations with virtually all the other candidates. They all, I think in their heart of hearts, see the same thing. So when the nomination is set, I think we will pull together and we will pull Democrats and we will pull independents or unaffiliateds with us. Believe it or not, I didn't get to say it, but the day after the debate with Troy Jackson, I had Democrats calling me saying, number one, I really like what you said, and I'm with you on things, everything from law enforcement to addiction treatment to the affordability issue. But they said, I had no idea that guy had run the state Senate. I mean, is that who the Democrat? And I said, not only is he the guy the Democrats put there, but think about all the people that voted for him that said, this is our best guy. Yeah, so that's a pretty instructive fact. We are living in a state that has been overrun, as you all know, by public corruption. If we do not get a handle on this right now, this year, we will not get another chance.
Before we let you go,
Yes,
you brought a prop. You brought a
I
piece of
did.
the Berlin Wall.
Yes, sir.
There are smaller pieces to be carrying around, by the way.
That's the piece that I brought back after 1989, having gone over. It's the funniest thing in the world. I tell people, you do not have to teach capitalism. These guys, these young kids were banging down the Berlin Wall after it came down, and then they're sitting around with pieces around them. And I went up to one of these kids and I said, how much for this piece? And he goes, $40.
Oh
I said, I'm not paying $40. Let's get serious about this. How much for this piece? I said, it's just a piece of concrete. He goes, he looks at me, of course, he's looking at me going, American, rich, gotta be, right? Yes. He goes, $40. I said, I am not buying it. And then I went and bought it. So the reality is sometimes you do things in life and it seemed to me a way to illustrate that if you can envision it and believe in it and get it done. Everybody thought Ronald Reagan was just talking through his hat. No, if you have it in your mind and you have the conviction and you work for it, you can make even something that seems impossible happen.
Where do you keep it at home?
On my dining room table.
Okay, great. Wow.
I
Well,
do.
good.
That's where it sits.
That's a surprising answer, but
inspiration on a daily
I like
basis.
the answer, but it's a
Yes,
surprising
sir.
answer. Bobby Charles, we're running out of time because they're kicking us out of here, but pleasure as always. Thank you
Absolutely.
for joining us and good luck.
So let me end by saying you guys are awesome.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, there's Bobby Charles and Owen McCarthy.
I'm here. I'm here.
How are you?
I'm doing excellent. How are
Well,
you?
I will say something to you that the early consensus was that you came out overachieving.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. I hope it carried through. I felt good through the whole
Created in the
debate.
second half. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
kidding.
exactly.
No. But
Yeah, we hit a pot.
Well, it's easy to do in this state. It's easy.
We gotta
but
fix the roads.
I got to call him the way I see him. I think
Yeah.
you dominated tonight.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
sincerely think you dominated. I think I think you woke up some people in the room a little bit. So
Yeah.
I mean, you were good. You were prepared, but you were funny and you
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
plan. And
Well, I love the opening question. Right.
Oh,
When
okay.
Steve came out and said, like, look, you're too nice to do this. I'm like, look, I might be someone that's could tell a joke and get along with people, but I'm a fighter. Right. And like I'm glad that I got the opportunity to explain that to the people of Maine.
yeah, and also, I mean, I think that you come at discussing business needs from a different angle.
Yeah.
And it just your personal story of the medical device invention and your journey it's an unorthodox journey
Yeah.
for a guy running for a really higher office.
Yeah.
And so that story, I think, it tends to hit all sorts of different people that usually don't get hit by what a candidate says. A lot
Yeah.
of the stuff is boilerplate nonsense. But
Yeah.
so do you think that you are especially enriched by your life story?
Oh, 100%. I mean, like I tell the story all the time about how growing up in a
Trailer
small town
park.
like Patton, exactly, wasn't quite a park, but it was a trailer on my grandfather's land.
Yeah.
Gave me all these advantages, right? Like the hard work, like the accountability. And I had all the while I had great parents and great mentors that I want to make sure that other kids of Maine have, because I can imagine the future. And then it's like with those skill sets you learn in rural Maine, you can take the next hill. You just need to aim people at taking the next hill. And that's been the story of my life throughout every journey. It's like you have a vision, you have a plan, and then you go take the next hill. And when you get there, you get more information and you go do it again and again and again.
Well, I think you took this hill tonight pretty well.
Okay.
And I think, we were the early non-scientific polling that we were doing out in the lobby was very positive.
so, what do you think tomorrow the campaign looks like for you and the rest of the candidates tonight?
Well, I mean, we get better 1% every day. So tomorrow, I got 2 events I'm going to go to speak and continue to spread the message, because, if you look at the polling, the Pan-Atlantic polling, last one I was statistically tied for second, but I was the most unknown candidate. I need to get out there and meet as many people as possible,
Okay.
and that's what I'm doing. And then we'll be able to get out there and put the message up for voters and be a candidate that has a vision and a plan. So tomorrow it's more talking to the people of Maine, which I love to do.
We'll drive fast home, but
70-something days
Fast
left, I
and
think.
to the right, 77.
70. Not that you're counting, or
I'm not counting them. Yeah. Early voting is like 50,
But I mean, it seems so long, seems so far away just a short time ago. But 77 days is going to go
I have
real quick.
a email that goes out every day to me that's set up on auto reminder to tell me how many days I have left, so I don't lose track of it. So
Well, good luck. We'll
Yeah.
be good taking the journey with you. Owen
you,
McCarthy,
fellas.
thank you.
Great job
Appreciate it.
tonight.
Yeah.
Great job tonight. Best
Thank
of
you.
luck to you. Thanks for taking a couple minutes
Absolutely.
with us.
Thank you.
Pleasure. As always.
So that is Owen McCarthy, who had John and I both think a good night.
I think unequivocally you have to say that he had a very good night, and I think he woke up. But overall, I would say everybody had a good night. I question why David Jones chose the time and the place that he chose that tonight. But overall, I mean, once again, I said it during like the halftime show. We've got great candidates, and we really need to be proud. But what people need to walk away from this is everybody identified somebody that they like now, but they have to go to work tomorrow. They have to go to the grocery store tomorrow, and they have to tell people, I saw this candidate last night. I need you to do more research on them. I saw this candidate that I really like. Let me tell you why I like them. And this is why you need to vote. Do you know when the primary is? It's June 9th. You need to go out and vote. And if you don't like the candidate that I liked, well, then you have 7 other choices on the stage.
Yes.
But you have to vote. And I say it all the time. If you don't vote, you can't complain.
I completely agree. Completely agree. Yeah, I will say of pleasant surprises, I thought Ben Midgley, I was very impressed with him.
Mhm.
We both mentioned Owen McCarthy. Oh, are we wrapping? Oh, sorry. Was that the police? Oh, sorry. We're going.
Oh, we're getting
Okay.
dirty look.
Where are those pizzas? All right. Thank you to everybody here at the Cross Center. Appreciate the hard work you do. Sorry to keep you late.
Thank you, Cross Center.
Didn't mean it. For the Maine Wire, Graham Pollard, he is John Featherston.